This is the absolute culmination of a team embracing their coach and embracing his style.
Hey everyone, welcome into TexAgs Rewind presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I'm David Nuno. Got Nick helping me, Callie helping me. Favorite part of the show, Calita?
Jordan Pugh.
He was good.
He was great.
He was really good.
I really like his segment.
I can't argue with that. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Nick, you better say Jamie McCoy because he was great too.
He was, but I'm going to say Chris Phillips. I always enjoy when we got him on the show.
You are a big Chris Phillips fan. Chris is good.
Yeah.
I don't like 7 and 5 and 8 and 4.
No.
I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying he's right. You'll have to watch the rewind because apparently I drink a lot of maroon Kool-Aid here on the show. We had Olin Buchanan for the first time in a long time. We had OB in studio. That and more. It is the rewind. Anywho, OB, performance of the week. I'm going to give you the first two.
The first two?
Yeah, I'm going to be nice. I mean, because I know I don't know what they're going to be. Nick has prepared a graphic with 3 that I know of.
Okay.
But you could throw a left curve and he might be ready.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, I'm going to then take the low-hanging fruit. Marcel Reed. I'm looking for the rest of the year to watch some of that Reed option. I don't even know if it's spelled R-E-A-D. I just like Marcel Reed the way. And you know what? He left plays out there.
Yeah.
He'll get better as probably this coming game because there were open receivers that he didn't throw to because it's his first start. But yeah, how do you not look at Marcel Reed, 178 yards passing, 83 rushing, probably the best juke of the week. That poor guy from Florida, I can't remember who it was, but his juke
was so awesome.
Was up around his face mask.
It was fantastic.
Accounted for 3 touchdowns. Again, added a big play element that we hadn't seen consistently. So you have to put Marcel Reed in there.
Look, I'm excited about seeing his growth, whenever that is. If it's this week, if it's the rest of the year, if it's at the end of the year, if it's next season. Whenever he gets his chance to shine. Because what I want to see is when he makes his adjustments after defenses have enough film on him and they make their adjustments. That's where the chess match happens.
Yeah. Look, I'm not giving up on Connor Wigman yet at all. I think he played really well the last time we saw him play. And we've seen him play very well at a high level several times. But whichever direction the Aggies go ultimately, I'm going to feel pretty good about.
All right. You want to give me one more?
Well, I told you, in a humid, damp environment, moss grows.
Yep.
And Le'Veon Moss, his rushing totals were growing. Anyway, had 110 yards rushing, his best rushing day of his career. He was outstanding. And, again, 2 big runs. One where he's bottled up, it looked like he breaks it out for about 29, and then one when they're on the goal line, he just shot through a hole. I thought Le'Veon was spectacular. He runs like someone stole from him, and he's going to get it back.
He's going to get it back. It helps when you can run the ball and have a good offensive line. And buddy, we can run the ball, and it looks like we have a pretty good offensive line.
Oh my gosh, talk about that. Shoot, Elko is such a blue-collar guy, and this is the absolute culmination of a team embracing their coach and embracing his style. In the years past, the Aggies have been out there on the field, and not that we've got punked or bullied or anything like that, but Saturday we had a level of chippiness to us.
Yeah.
It was like we weren't taking anything. Me and Terrence, we're 10 months apart. And I vividly remember, I used to always just pick on him, do what I needed to on video games, in the backyard, front yard, whatever it was. But there was a day where I did something to him. He just kind of snapped at me and slapped my arm off or whatever and was like, we not little no more. I'm not taking it. And that's how I feel like the Aggies are at this point. It's to see them out there, like whether it was special teams, defense, I was more of a humble guy. I didn't talk unless you started talking to me, but I love seeing the grittiness. Torian was out there chirping on punt team. Lagway was doing something on the sideline after they came out from the break trying to get their guys going, and it was like, no, we're not having it. So to see us go out there and do that was great, but our offensive line, back to your point, 300 yards back-to-back games, that's no easy task. Whether you got 1, 2, 3 guys back there doing it, toting the rock, I mean, Le'Veon has looked amazing. It reminded me of Le'Veon Bell. Kudos to the offensive line. We finally are putting our stamp on people. We're moving furniture, and we're saying we're running the ball. You know we're running the ball. Stop us. And to this point, teams haven't been able to stop us. So I hope we can just keep it going, keep gelling, try to stay injury-free because we keep seeming to lose a guy every week. But hopefully we get guys back. But the offensive line looks amazing, and it's only going to help propel our passing scheme down the line. It's going to make the play action that much more potent. So kudos to those guys and the coaching staff.
Jamie. Jordan, let's talk a little bit about the defense. And are people overreacting overall about taking your foot off the accelerator? Or, the defense just, it was a bend, don't break at the end of the game. So what was your assessment of the way secondary played overall, the way the defense played in the second half as opposed to their dominance in the first half?
Defense played well. Overall, as a unit, played well. Now, if I'm a coach, the coach in me harps on the second half of the game, as in kill all hope, right? You saw a team that was firmly in control. Yes, in my opinion, we laxed a little bit in that second half. We gave too many instances where the game could have got back in control of Florida's hands. But overall, as a defense, the first 3 games of the season, I thought we've been lights out. We played a great game against Notre Dame. We looked at the game against McNeese, and it translated over here to the Florida game. And our defense has been the unsung hero so far in the season, right? And that's something that you expect with what Elko brings to the table. Our front 7 is starting to get their rhythm now, right? You're starting to see a lot of mix and match packages, coverages. You're seeing Scooby Williams starting to come into his own. You know what York has been doing, but our secondary with Will Lee, Bryce Anderson. For the life of me, these targeting penalties are killing me on defense. But you're seeing the defense starting to be more cohesive. The chemistry is there, and they're really upholding this team right now. And right now, the defense is the MVP 3 weeks into the season right now. With what we've done, how we've limited offensive possessions. You look at what we did in the first half against Florida. I think we had 50 plays to their 15 or something like that. It was crazy when I heard that going into halftime. That has everything to do with the offense, but the same thing with the defense. The defense is getting them off the field. That's what you want. You want more possessions in your hand as an offensive player, but that coincides with the defense being elite.
All right, so you had your 7-5, 8-4 prediction based on what you thought of A&M. Can that evolve now that we know stuff about other teams? I don't remember who the 4 or 5 losses were, but LSU seems very beatable, especially at Kyle Field. South Carolina, I'm TBD on them, even though they should have beat LSU. I want to see how that travels to Kyle. Actually, A&M's going to South Carolina. But when you talk about these teams, do you see some areas I'm not so sure about this team? Texas seems to be Texas. Notre Dame, they lost that one. When you see these 4 or 5 losses, are you maybe changing on the way that some of the opponents look?
I think absolutely, David. I mean, I think that's something that happens virtually every year, but especially this year. I mean, I said it going in. We've never known less about these teams just because there's so much movement with the transfer portal, and some teams are changing coaching staffs, obviously. But we come into it again. We've just never known less because of all the moving pieces. I mean, I think there's going to be games certainly for, Texas A&M, where it's why the ceiling and the floor are kind of so widespread. Excuse me, with a team like Texas A&M who's got the talent they do. A game like against Missouri is winnable, right? Missouri's going to be a gettable team. Obviously, LSU at home, you feel good about that. They've had success there at Kyle Field. I still feel like A&M can go to South Carolina and win that football game, although that's one I think probably Gamecock fans, maybe they're sort of going back and forth. So, I had A&M beating Texas before the season. That's one that, who knows what that game looks like from now until the end of the year. I know Texas is flying high. They've been beating up on some non-conference competition, but once we get into SEC play, this is a week-to-week game, David. You know that. So, listen, I think I always felt like A&M can do more. I went into the season and I was openly just saying, hey, I'm a little bit more conservative just because I want to see it. But the talent's there certainly to 8-4, maybe even 9-3. And to your point, as we learn more about these teams, schedules that were once a certain level of difficulty, maybe they become a little bit more manageable. For some people, they become harder. But I think for A&M, certainly there's a couple games on there that are coin flips coming in that you could absolutely see the Aggies winning.
All right, Carlita, tell the people what they need to know.
Need to like, comment, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends about TexAgs Radio or TexAgs Live.
Okay, hey, can we tell our friends to tell you happy belated birthday.
No.
Tell everybody on the comments you want a fake virtual hug from David Nuno. I'm not going to really do it, but there you go. Say happy birthday, Callie.
Thank you.
20 years old. Just
20.
kidding.
I just turned 21, everybody.
A couple years more than that. We'll see you next time.